Right before we start, I'll just do a quick overview of MentorColor. I have I'll share my screen, do that. Quick. Can everyone see my screen? Right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
MentorColor really, like, what we're looking to do is to increase the representation of Blacks and people of color in tech. A lot of you have been part of this journey with us for some time now. We're doing this primarily through mentorship. So we have a platform with over 200 mentors from lots of big global companies that you're aware of. And you can get support from our mentors. Our mentors help out with both one-on-one and group mentorship sessions. All of this done completely remotely and online. You can get support on both leadership, interview techniques, career advice, and even code reviews. And we have mentors that support across the different tech disciplines, from front end to back end, to data, and even to products. And we host weekly workshop sessions just like this one with Brian. So we encourage you to go check out some of our sessions and sign up for sessions that you're interested in. Also, at the end of this session, you'll be receiving an email to leave reviews for this session. So feel free to give feedback on what you've gotten out of this session. And also, if this is something that provided a lot of value to you, don't hesitate to share about it on social media. So I will hand it over straight to Brian so that you can take it from here.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. So I'll go ahead and share my slides. Can you guys see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, so my presentation will be pretty quick. It'll be, this is on how to land your first job in tech. And this will be interactive. I'll have a few questions here and there, so feel free to go ahead and yell out the answer if you know it. So my background is I'm a senior front-end engineer at a fintech company. Mainly I work with React and JavaScript, TypeScript. And a lot of people have helped me, so I'm happy to give back. So that's why I'm, thank you for Victor for establishing MentorColor, letting me be the first to give a presentation. Thank you to my friend Sharon for helping me with the slide designs and Jillian for reviewing the slides. So my plan in this is to have a lot of actionable steps that hopefully you can apply to help you get your first job. And then afterwards, I'll answer questions and review resumes. And just to note, these strategies are mostly US based. Like for example, in the US, we do a one-page resume. I know other countries use a multiple page CV. So this is kind of biased towards the US job market. And if you have any questions, feel free to ping in the chat or just go ahead and raise your hand or just say it. Okay, let me talk about why I enjoy being a software engineer. So the pros are, there's always something to learn, like technology moves fast and it's always interesting. And the feedback is instant, especially in the front end. I can see like my work and its results. And then there's great salary, great benefits, you can work remote. And the impact can be, on the technical end business, it can be pretty broad and pretty impactful. And then I like the attention from recruiters, hiring managers, and companies. It's nice to know that us software engineers are in demand and we get a lot of attention, which feels good. The con side is there's always something to learn, which is also a pro, but like it can be pretty overwhelming. Like there's something new every week, and there's cognitive fatigue, and then sometimes there's really tight deadlines and business pressure. But overall, it's great. And how do you get started with coding? If you've never coded before, I recommend going through Codecademy JavaScript. That'll just let you know if it's fun and if it's a good start for you, because it has like badges, streaks. It's really gamified. And the next step is, if you really like it, you can do the Odin project, which is a free full stack online bootcamp, and it's open source as well. And there's a great community that's eager to help you review projects and help out whenever you need. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, that was just a quick overview. Okay, so the job search, the first job is the hardest to get. The reason, and then I have the question is why, and then here's some memes I found about why the first job is the hardest to get. You can't get a job without experience, and you can't get experience without a job. So it looks like everyone's been there and done that based on the reactions I see in the chat. So, and I also found this meme as well. Like I was saying that this is my selfie at work. I don't wear a tie, but yeah, it's like it can be a tough time now as well, like with the pandemic and everything in lockdown. However, it's a great time to be looking now because I don't know if you've heard of the Great Reshuffle, where there's a lot of jobs right now, and all the jobs are remote, and you can get a New York, San Francisco salary even when you're living wherever in a small town. And you can also interview from home. You can do multiple interviews with multiple companies from multiple time zones all on the same day. And the more interviews you do, the better you get. And yeah, the better things go for you. Like you'll learn from each one. And so next section I'm going to cover is my LinkedIn networking tips. But first I have a pop quiz. So go ahead and you can blurt this answer out loud if you know it. So who is this? Don't hear any answers. Can someone say? Everyone's on mute. Okay, who is it?
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and
Does no one know?
That's Kanye's ex-wife.
Okay, that's Kim Kardashian. So
yeah,
the question is, how many followers does she have on social media? Go ahead, anyone answer. Just guess.
Like
I'd say
300 million.
12 million.
She has 285 million followers.
wow.
And then, yeah.
Whoa.
Probably, yeah. So the next question is, why am I bringing this up? So the reason is, this is my LinkedIn. I have 15,000 followers. I call myself the Kim Kardashian of software engineers. So, and then I say, these are my emails that I get. I say, these are my paparazzi. Recruiters are my paparazzi. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is very important to your job search. Like recruiters use LinkedIn, and then if you have a lot of connections, like LinkedIn's like high school. If you're popular in high school, everyone wants to be your friend. So the key is to bump up your connections, and then recruiters will start coming to you. So this brings me to the next point of my LinkedIn tips. So the first tip is make sure you have 500 connections at least, because recruiters see that, and then it kind of raises the red flag if you only have like 10 connections. Like it just looks like a scammer, or it looks like you don't have any connections in the industry. And the next thing is you should especially connect with technical recruiters, because they make their money, they make their living by getting people jobs. So it's very important to connect with recruiters. And the next thing is to really show up in the search results. I recommend having your headline say, software engineer actively seeking opportunity. That way, that's your headline. The recruiters and hiring managers see that right away. And then you should get this open to work badge. That it bumps up your search results even higher. So these are like 4 very actionable tips that just take like a few minutes but can make a big difference. And some additional moving on to resume tips, I recommend having blue hyperlinks in your resume, because if you don't have a job, you don't have experience, you need proof that you can actually program. And one of the best ways is to have websites that you've built, because recruiters are not technical, but if they see the blue links and they click on it and they can play with it, then they can be your advocate, because you're proving that you can code. And then I recommend having your top section say programming experience, because it looks like everything underneath that section is your programming experience. So that's why I recommend that. Like, yeah, you go from top to bottom of the resume and you say programming experience, and it looks like everything you've done is the programming experience. And then I recommend writing lots of keywords, because I know, let's say you take a boot camp, you don't have professional experience, but your boot camp will have covered React, JavaScript, TypeScript. I recommend putting that in your resume, because recruiters search by keywords. So these are some tips I recommend as well. Does this make sense so far? Any feedback?
Yeah. A question about the tip that you give, putting coding experience on the top. Does that make sense even if it's not your most recent experience? You know what I mean?
Well, yes, I recommend putting programming experience as a top section, and then underneath it, it could be like education or it could be work experience, but still at the very top, you have programming experience.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say you're transitioning careers. Let's say, for me, I was transitioning from like biology. So I still put programming experience at the top. And then at the bottom, I put like additional experience includes retail, customer service. That's just like one sentence. So the reason I say have it at the top is because like you go from top to bottom and then you see programming experience right away. And then at the very bottom, it's like the non-programming related stuff. So this way you show that the program, this way it's at the top and it gets the attention right away.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did anyone else raise their hand? I thought I saw someone on mute for a second. No. Okay, I'll continue. Oh, so here's an example. So here's my first resume. So I have a summary qualifications, then I have programming experience, and then I had some college courses I took. But you can see like here's the top of my resume with my name, and then at the very top is programming experience. And then on the right side, this is what I have for my independent projects, and I have these hyperlinks that recruiters can click on. And then you can see I put JavaScript random quote generator, and then I put Ruby on Rails sticky notes. So that shows like I got the keywords in, and then plus they're live, so recruiters can play with it. And they're not really that fancy, but at least it's, you know, it proves that I can code, that I build things. And also you can see the blue stands out on the page, like versus like if everything's black and you have the blue hyperlinks, like it really stands out. Especially since recruiters spend like 3 seconds per resume, or 10 seconds or 5 seconds. Okay, so now next I'm going to talk about applying for jobs, and here's another pop quiz. Does anyone know who this is? No one? Guess I didn't pick. No one's seen the, I guess no Marvel fans here. Okay, there's no one really. It's Hawkeye, thank you. Okay. Yeah, Hawkeye. So the reason I'm bringing this up is it's one of the most recommended approaches to be like the Hawkeye approach, very targeted, to ask for referrals, to network, the informational interviewing. And this is definitely an effective tool in the toolbox, especially if you have, especially if it's a target company that you're really interested in. Then you can definitely invest the time and energy to network, informational interview, contact people on LinkedIn, and buy them coffee. Well, pre-pandemic, you could buy people coffee. Not sure what's going on now, but so this is definitely a good approach. It's definitely a good tool in the toolbox, but I recommend a different strategy for the bulk of your applications. Okay, next pop quiz. Who is this? Hope I get an answer.
That's the Hulk?
Yes. Okay. I wasn't sure if it would be visible with the him not poking out, but okay. So I recommend the Hulk smash approach to applying. So it's a lower percentage but very high volume, and you get lots of great results, especially if you're in the Bay Area or New York or in London where there's a tech hub. And here's my specific tips. I recommend 3 to 5 minutes a day, 15 one-click applications on sites like LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter. Just 5 minutes a day, that's 100 applications a week. That's 500 applications a month. It's even more. So it's just tremendous volume. And I recommend that every recruiter that messages you, you should respond with your resume and a summary. So I'm not sure how the algorithm works, but I think if you respond to recruiters, they bump your search results up because your activity is high. And then I recommend that you talk to every recruiter and you practice your elevator pitch. And if anyone wants to practice after this in the Q&A, I'll be happy to give you feedback. And I also recommend signing up for websites like AngelList, Hired, and TripleByte. So the reason I recommend this is if you have, it's just like 3 minutes a day, one-click applications. That's so much volume, like 15, and that's like 100 a week, 500 a month. It's just gonna add up. It's just like, yeah, it's just so much volume that it's a low percentage, but like even if it's 1%, that's still like one every week, like in terms of hits. Okay, so additional quick tips. When people ask like, what's your salary expectations, you can respond with what range have they specified for the role. So it kind of puts it back on them. And then when they answer, you can say, that sounds like a great place to start, which I learned from my Yuko YouTube video. And when they ask about a technology you've not used before, you can answer, I don't have experience, but I've used something similar. For example, have you used Vue? No, I have not, but I've used React, which is also component-based. Have you worked with .NET MVC? I have not, but I've worked with Ruby on Rails, which is also an MVC framework. So even though you may not have the exact experience, you can talk about something similar, which will oftentimes as long as you can answer the follow-up questions and explain it, that's perfectly fine in a lot of cases. And another tip I have is when they ask, how would you rate yourself? One thing you can say is like, you can ask me questions and see what I know and I don't know. That way, like, the problem is if you answer too high, then you could look really bad. If you answer too low, it sounds like you're not confident. So you can push it back on them as well. So that's a quick tip I have. And some other additional tips is so I'm recommending the Hulk smash approach. One problem is that they'll call you and ask you, what do you know about your company? Why did you apply for our position? You have to be smooth about that, because like I've bombed this before where I was like, oh, you have an interesting company, and it just goes really badly. So you need to be ready for this. And I mentioned earlier, if you don't have experience, how can you gain experience? You can do freelance for your friends and family, like just build websites for them. And some people even volunteer as well. And going to talking about MentorColor, what I recommend when you talk to a mentor is ask for a clear path, ask for which next steps you should take, and when you should contact them about your questions or achievements, and ask for how long when you're blocked should you ask for help, like if it's like 30 minutes or 1 day or 2 days, like just make sure you have a clear line of communication. And another additional tip is for data structures and algorithms. The first step is to memorize with understanding. And then after you have enough questions memorized with understanding, then you'll start to see patterns. And then also remember to have fun building software, solving interesting problems. Like it's a fun industry to be in, and like you want your first job because you're having fun. You've been having fun building software, and then now you're going to take the next step to get rewarded for having fun building software. And then you can find all my tips at this blog post. And here's my last post. So that's I can open this up for questions and resume reviews. So any questions off the top of the
Yeah, I guess I can go. So there's a part where you talked about networking.
Yes.
About reaching out to people, like if you want to refer or something. But for like a Kim Kardashian like yourself, like sending you a DM on LinkedIn, how successful can that be? Like if you're already receiving so many, like does reaching out to people directly, does that work? And also, just like one thing that like I find sometimes awkward, like so once you've connected with someone, maybe you've messaged once or twice, like at what point do you ask for a referral? Because like sometimes I feel like people may not be too comfortable because at that point they don't really know you. So it's like how to actually successfully transform those LinkedIn connection into something that can help.
Yeah, that's a good question. To be honest, I don't have that much experience asking for referrals. When I have asked, it's a really low percentage, because sometimes it takes a lot of process on their part to get you in the system. So that's why I recommend adding recruiters, because they're financially motivated to get you a job, and then also engineering managers. And also if you see that a hashtag we're hiring, then you should that means they want you to contact them. does that make sense? Like, I recommend going after recruiters and hiring managers and engineering managers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In terms of in terms of like chatting up people, like I think it's general. You can just in general, when people ask me for a referral, like I just give them the website, refer me. Let me ping it in the chat. So I know I don't have experience with this. I know that people use this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, so if we don't have, do we have any other questions? If not, I can take a look at I think Victor sent me a link of previous questions.
Yeah, I can paste it in the chat unless someone else has a question.
I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
It's okay. So I'm doing a boot camp right now. I'm a college student. So I switched to my major. So do you think it's worth it to just find a job right after the boot camp and go straight to the work, or should I finish my college? That's kind of more like a personal opinion, I guess. What do you think about that?
That's kind of personalized too. Like if depends on your like financial situation, and it depends on where your goal is. Like if you need work right away, you should just get the job right away. However, if you have the luxury, if you're like in your 3rd year of school and you can get internships at a FANG, then you should stay in school. So I can't really answer. That's a question you have to answer for yourself based on your goals, your financial situation. Sorry to kind of dodge it, but it really depends.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a couple minutes left, and let me take a look at the questions.
Yeah,
okay.
I can post one in the chat. Yeah, I can just put it there. It's like 2 questions in one.
Okay, when is the best time to contact the job poster if you do not get a response? This depends. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. What I have done is after an interview, I've sent a thank you note, and then a few days later, I send another response like, let me know if you have any additional questions. So after the interview, that's what I've done. So, and then, yeah, it's just in general, after the interview, I've sent a thank you note. Okay, so
maybe I have one question for you. Like, what was the first job you got, like, after you studied computer science?
Oh, actually, I don't have a computer science degree. I'm more on, I actually have a biology degree. And then, so.
No, I mean, like, after you felt like that you had the skills to be software engineers. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you never feel ready to get a job, and you never feel ready to apply. You just kind of reach a point where you just have to force yourself to do it. I think like so yeah, you never feel ready, and then the imposter syndrome always stays. Like first it's I'll never get a response from a company, and then it's I'll never get an interview, and then it's I'll never clear an interview. Like the insecurities always stay there, but they just get higher quality. So you have to apply before you're ready. That's just like, you just have to put yourself out there, and then you have to fail and learn from it. And then there's just no way around it. It's going to be demoralizing at times, but then it's worth it. Like after you get better and you learn, and then you get to have fun getting paid to build software. So, but you never feel ready, and it gets better, and as your skills improve. Okay.
I'm curious. It's kind of a follow-up question, Dorian. So before you switched to computer science, were you doing something biology related, or what were you doing?
Okay, so I have a degree in biology, and I was like doing stuff in healthcare and work at a microbiology lab, and I was working as a bank teller. So I was doing a bunch of random things. So
Okay.
what I tell people is like when recruiters ask me, like I was working as a teller and everyone, it's great to have the sales customer service, but it's not as, it's not, it's great life skills, but it's not interesting. And I thought, what am I good at? I'm good at thinking, logic, analysis. So I discovered programming. I started with Codecademy, and it's been fun since. That's how I summarize in one sentence. Like I discovered programming. It's been fun since, and it has been fun. But yeah, I definitely had insecurities about like how am I going to get a job when I've had so many careers and and like I have this huge gap since graduating. So there's definitely those insecurities as well as a self-taught, mostly self-taught programmer. Okay, I think we're at time, but thank you so much everyone for letting me be the first to present and share my tips and techniques. And hopefully I get to see you guys in the future as presenting how you got your first job or internship.
Definitely, yeah. And thanks a lot, Brian, for taking the time. I think we went through a bunch of really interesting tips here. I wonder if you would even want to share like this deck or something, or a link to like where you have some of your tips. I think that would be super useful. We can just put it there, also in the Discord, and probably send it out to folks that weren't able to attend this session. So yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. You will get an email shortly. Please give feedback and yeah, just say what you learned from this. I think it's going to help others to attend more sessions, and we hope to also host Brian in other sessions. Feel free to share on social media and just spread the word. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
Bye.